AdMagic has been manufacturing Cards Against Humanity since they first kick-started in 2011, and has presented some interesting challenges to us as far as manufacturing is concerned. I know we manufacture it because I saw it on Wikipedia. See? There it is. Must be true. After creating the initial game and several expansions, it became apparent that a storage box was needed for the game. It would henceforth be called the bigger, blacker box. But it needed just a few special attributes. Just a few. The first hurdle was the team wanted a box that looked and felt more like an iPhone box than a regular game box. Secondly, it needed to hold 1,500 cards, which is a very, very large card box. It needed to have white letters that would really jump out to shine on the matte finish, and therefore the printing would need to be embossed and spot UV coated. Spot UV coating limits the shine to just the areas that you want covered. In this case, it would just be the letters. So first we did a series of white test boxes in different shapes that all had iPhone box attributes. And these were some of the ones we did. We actually did 7 different boxes. The team judged them, and this is the shape that won. And then the box needed to have just a few little items in it. Wound up having a box expansion box, which was a special expansion that was just to come in this particular box. It came with blank white and black cards, special plastic divider cards that are just a hair larger so people who are anal retentive could separate their cards, however they want. I think a lot of the people that play this game are pretty anal retentive. And 5 foam pieces with nutritional information printed on them to be used as spacers until people filled up their box with cards or as breakfast. And then they wanted one more thing, a single card that said biggest, blackest dick, but it had to be done in silver foil. And the problem with silver foil is not every card comes out perfect. So when we print these, they have to be examined carefully, and then only the good ones go through to be put into the box. And then they needed a few more little things. It needed to be hidden somewhere in the box. Really? Okay. Like maybe in the lid. Okay. Like maybe in a false lid. So I asked, does any manufacturer let me get this straight. I'm going to make this beautiful box, and then people are going to have to rip it apart to find this hidden card. And I was told, yes, exactly. That's fine. It's fine if they rip it apart. And then we made it for, nobody knew about this for several months. It had to be 2 to 3 months before anybody even found a card in the box. It might have even been longer. And I couldn't stand it. I really wanted to tell someone. But my staff didn't even know about it. Eventually they did, but nobody knew. So the biggest, blackest box was a tough one to manufacture until I got the Christmas in July call. I call it the Christmas in July call because I'll never forget it. Right around the 4th of July, 2013, I got a call about a couple of little things the guys wanted to do for the holidays. Side note, I was actually in Gettysburg that day with my family. See the little girl, that's mine. And that's my cannon over there. Yeah, I didn't actually buy that cannon or anything, but it's mine now. Anyway, so they wanted to offer 100,000 people 12 different holiday gifts for $1 a gift. One gift was to be mailed out for each of the 12 days of Christmas. And this was a very ambitious undertaking, which sold out in 7 hours, which meant I really was going to be manufacturing it after all. Of course, it was called the 12 Days of Holiday Bullshit. And it had a puzzle in it, which somebody eventually figured out. It had 100,000 each of 6 different packs of 5 cards each, which had to go in certain envelopes. There was a newspaper, which when we delivered the newspaper to the fulfillment center and they went to fold the paper, the paper kind of started to spread and it wouldn't fit into the envelope. So we had to cut the paper when it got to the fulfillment center. Series of posters, packed 3 per envelope, which were supposed to be randomly packed, which weren't quite as random as they should have been, but they were pretty random. It worked out pretty well. 100,000 letterpress charity cards. The letterpress place almost had a heart attack because nobody ever prints 100,000 letterpress cards. It's just not done. Letterpress cards are like, 20, 100, wedding invitations. This guy ran 100,000. It was on a tight deadline. That was a lot of fun. And the charity cards and thank you letters needed to be packed together. So this is how that was done. Also, did I mention 100,000 packs of coal? That had to weigh under 2 ounces, and they had to be a certain thickness, so they could be packed into envelopes, hand-packed into envelopes. So people had to pack coal, which was amazing. So we got this giant pallet of coal shipped in certain size pieces of coal, which is fortunate that the coal manufacturer does make coal in special sizes. So I got lucky on that one. Otherwise, we would have been like, we didn't actually have to do that. That part was okay. But there was more. By the way, so for those of you who are thinking of making a game, a lot of this was discussed that first phone call in July, which goes to show you need to plan things early. So this was planned 6 months in advance, which I probably could have used 7. One other little item. We needed a game that weighed under 2 ounces, had 40 mini cards, and it had to be held in something that the people could put the cards back into. It also had to fit into a certain size envelope, so it couldn't be too thick to mail. And it was henceforth called clusterfuck. So all my emails say clusterfuck in the subject line. Just saying, bigger, blacker dick, clusterfuck. These are what my emails look like. And this worked to satisfy all the requirements. That's what the final product looked like. It had a little plastic piece in there that opened up. It was resealable. People can put the cards back in it. And there was one other small thing that the guys wanted. It was just a tiny requirement. They wanted 100,000 individually customized name cards, which I can tell you definitely had never been done before in playing cards. I know that for a fact. I've been doing this a long time. Each name was unique. Some weren't names at all. If you see your name, raise your hand. We'll be running the full 100,000. No, I'm just kidding. And each individual card had to go into the envelope that was addressed for that card. So, how do we do it? Raise your hands if you have an answer. How do we do that?
By hand?
Yeah, basically. So we did them in lots of 250. What we did was the mailing list was provided. It was output in the same order as the mailing was going to be output. And then lots of 250 were created, and then they were hand matched. So here's how that worked. This had never been done before. So we built a special rig, and here's how that worked. So it grabs them and it pushes them into the envelopes, and it stops like every couple because it, just never works perfect. Push the cards into the envelopes while lifting them with suction and then wetting the flap. Suction cup's lifted up just enough to get the card in there, and it's pushed on. Flap is automatically wet. Before sealing, each was individually matched by eye. Here's my little composition. Music by Shari, Spiro. Should have said applause on the next slide. Just kidding. That was easy. After Christmas, there was another little idea that needed making. It involved oatmeal and cards. I said, sure, we can put a pack of cards in oatmeal. But no, they had to be loose in the oatmeal. I said, okay. I don't know anybody who's going to do that. In a set of 4 oatmeal packs, each pack had to have its own individual set of cards. And part of the challenge was creating a bag to look like a regular instant oatmeal bag. Okay, because we're going to make it from scratch, but it's not going to be a real oatmeal bag, but it has to pass for an oatmeal bag. So I sent one to the plant, and I had them duplicate it, but instead of a machine seal, because they're normally machine sealed, I had them do an adhesive seal so that we could pack the oatmeal and the cards by hand. And we wanted American oatmeal, just in case someone actually ate it. No offense to any other country, but US oatmeal really seemed like the best idea at the time. And each pack needed to have its own special set of cards and about 1.5 ounces of oatmeal. And how are we going to do this? That was the question. So I decided to get bulk oatmeal from an oatmeal plant. Quaker was no help. Boycott Quaker. They literally were no help at all. We created the bags in a separate facility. We made the cards in our regular plant. And we had everything shipped into one center to be put together. And that was fun to explain. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a scoop of oatmeal, and we're going to put the cards in it. And they're like, oh, so the cards are going to come wrapped, and we're going to put them in the oatmeal. No, we're going to put the cards in. The cards are going to come with rubber bands. You're going to take the rubber band off, and you're going to put them in the oatmeal. Just shove them in the oatmeal. Little did we know how this entire program was going to roll out at PAX East. Neither did the attendees. When people got the oatmeal in the swag bags, a lot of people just threw it away. It's safe to say not everyone likes oatmeal. Once someone discovered Cards Against Humanity was inside, people hunted through the trash to get their oatmeal bags back. They are now collectibles. That's what they look like. And that was the result. And Ad Magic doesn't just make cards and games. Oh no. We've made some other fun stuff, like edibles for people waiting online. Miss Fortune cookies were handed out during PAX Prime to nourish people waiting on the long lines. So that's what the line looked like around the Cards Against Humanity booth at PAX Prime. Ironic side note, the Chinese fortune cookies were actually made here in the United States. And here are a few examples. Bad luck and extreme misfortune will infest your pathetic soul for all eternity. Side effects of this cookie may include dry mouth, rickets, circular vomiting, and puberty. If you smell burning toast, you're having a stroke. And my favorite, there is a 50% chance your marriage will end in divorce. And there were like, 35 others. Also handed out on that line were some useful health products, condoms against humanity. And we've been making some new products like cool full-color foil packs and revising some old ones. And now we're working on, oh, sorry, if I told you that, I'd have to hire you. Feel free to stick around for the Q&A. Thank you very much. Come on, you can do better than that. We're filming this. We're filming this, damn it. All right, thank you.